What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. I have the new palette from Singe Beauty and I am so excited about this one. Singe Beauty is an indie brand. It's owned by Angelica Nyqvist. I'm sure you know who that is, but if you don't, she is a content creator here on YouTube and over on Instagram. She is so beautiful. She is extremely talented, and I don't know her personally, but she seems like a very sweet and genuine person. But she launched her brand about a couple of years ago at this point. I'm not sure exactly how long it's been. She started out with eye and face brushes. Earlier this year, she launched some blushes, and now she has her own eyeshadow palette, and this is the Galactic Visitor palette. This is so cute. It retails for $45. It is still currently available on the website, and I just love the cover art. I love the little cowgirl on her horse being abducted by aliens. I think it's so cute, very fun, very creative. But if you open it up, you have this beautiful 16 pan color story, and I think this is beautiful. It is a very Angie color story. If you watch her content, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I love the balance of this palette. You're gonna get 10 mattes, 6 shimmers. There's a good range of mattes in here. It goes from really light to really dark, and I think the shimmers look absolutely beautiful in here. So like I said, I'm really excited to test out this palette. So far, I have loved everything that the brand has launched, and I'm hoping that this will be no exception to that. Now, I will have this palette as well as her video launching this palette linked and listed down below in the description box, as well as everything else that I use in today's video to complete my looks. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But I'm gonna go ahead and zoom y'all in, get my hair out of my face, prime my eyes, and we're gonna create 2 looks with this palette. Alright, y'all, so per usual, I went ahead and primed my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and we're gonna go ahead and jump in and start creating our first look with this palette. So I think I want to do something pretty neutral with maybe like a pop of yellow over here. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. And then maybe for the second look, we can do something more with like the blues and the teals down here, which I love that this palette is kind of split into warm tones and cool tones. It just makes it so much easier if you're not really sure what to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with this shade right here, this really pretty kind of peachy neutral shade, which is called Hoodoos. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. I absolutely love it. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 201 brush, and I'm gonna start by kind of fluffing this into my crease. I don't know how pigmented these are gonna be, so I'm picking up just a little bit, and I'm just gonna go in right in here very softly and just start to build up this shade. Now, I have been watching Angelica Nyqvist for, I wanna say about 4 years at this point. Maybe it's coming up on 5. It is coming up on 5 because I discovered her during 2020, during the pandemic, when we were all kind of stuck at home, and I really went down the YouTube rabbit hole. I had already been watching YouTube at that point, but I had kind of fallen out of it just a little bit, not because I didn't love makeup, but I just didn't have the time. And when I had all the time in the world and kind of finished all my other projects around the house, I really got back into it. And I don't remember how I stumbled across her, but I remember it was sort of like a haul type video, and I was immediately drawn in by her presence, her sense of humor. I love her accent. I could listen to her talk all day. I just think she's so cute, and I've been watching her ever since, and I am so excited that she's finally bringing us an eyeshadow palette that went on so nicely. The pigmentation was buildable, which I really appreciate. I'm not getting patching, skipping, fallout, anything like that. It is a lighter shade, so it's really more the dark shades that is going to be the true tell sign of the performance of this palette. But so far, I'm liking the way that's performing. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So I think from there, I think I want to go to this reddy brown up here. This one is called Peace. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with, let's go in with a Singe Beauty EO6 brush. I love these brushes. I use them all the time in pretty much every single video. These are fantastic, great quality. But I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up, and I'm going to start to kind of build up my outer corner out here and see how this is going to perform. But like I said, I am so excited that she is bringing us an eyeshadow palette. I love it whenever she does a collab with one of her brands. Like, I have all of her Odin's Eye palettes. I missed the one from Kaleidos, but if I'm being honest, this color story to me is like a 2024 version of that one from Kaleidos, and I just think this is beautiful. That's going on really nicely. Again, very buildable in pigmentation. You saw how whenever I first put it on, I got like a light wash, but when I dug back in, it really built up that pigmentation. It's blending out very easily. This definitely has a really pretty red, warm undertone to it, and I really like the way this is applying. I think I'm gonna bring that down onto the lower lash line as well, just right here on the very outer portion, and just meet it up with what I have going on the lid. Kind of the same technique I usually do, nothing crazy. I don't want to switch it up too much since this is a new formula and I'm really kind of experimenting with it and seeing how it performs. So I want to play with it the way I normally like to play with my eyeshadows, if that makes sense. But wow, that is really pretty. I love the way that it blended out. I would expect nothing else, but let's deepen this up a little bit more. So I'm going to go into this black shade down here. I love that she included a black because I love a black to deepen up an outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up with a Morphe M506. This shade is called Eclipse. I'm going to go in very lightly handed because I don't know how pigmented this is. And I'm just going to tap it right here. Yeah, that's very pigmented, which I'm okay with. I generally prefer a more buildable black shade because if it's too pigmented, it can get really away from you, but I do think this is kind of like a nice balance between buildable and super pigmented. It's going on really nicely. Look at that depth it's giving me. Wow, that is so pretty. I'm just really excited about this. I'm always excited when somebody gets to follow their dreams and do what they want to do. And I know that this is a passion of hers. I know how much she loves makeup, she loves color, and I'm just really excited for her. I mean, that's really all it is to it. But that looks really pretty. Okay, so I think what I want to do from here, I think I'm going to take this shade right here and bring it down to the rest of my lower lash line, and then I want to take this bright yellow right here and put it on my inner corner. So I'm going to go back with that first brush that I used with that shade Hoodoos, and I'm going to put it right here on my lower lash line, and I'm going to kind of bring it under everything else that I did, just kind of soften everything, kind of blow it out a little bit, get rid of any harsh lines that we have going on. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up that yellow shade, which is called Soul. And what brush do I want to use for that? I didn't really think this through very well, did I? We're going to go in with this one. This is a Singe Beauty EO2 brush. So I'm going to pick up that yellow shade Soul, and I'm going to go in right here in my inner corner. See how pigmented this is. I love a bright pop in my inner corner, and I think this is going to look beautiful. Yeah, look how fun that is. Oh my gosh, it's so pigmented. But you know what? I'm not getting that fallout right here. Granted, I didn't go in super heavy-handed, but sometimes when you go in with a matte on the inner corner, since you're going into such a small space, you get like this little bit of fallout right here. It usually wipes away, but I'm not getting that. That is really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes with my NYX Glitter Primer, and we're gonna put some shimmer on the lid. So for all over the lid, I think I want to go into this really pretty gold shimmer shade right here. I think it's just going to kind of tie everything together with these warm tones and that bright yellow inner corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my BK Beauty 203 brush. I am going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus. I spray every single shimmer before I apply it, and I also use my NYX Glitter Primer before every single shimmer as well. It gives me the insurance that I need, and it works really well for my oily lids. So I'm going to go ahead and spray that brush. And I'm going to start by kind of pressing this on the, whoa, I did not expect that to be that impactful. Holy cow, that is not sheer, that is not for the faint of heart. I love it. I think that is beautiful, but I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and put that all over my lid. I got a little distracted by the shiny thing on my lid, and just kind of blend it over here into the outer corner. I am going to go in with another shimmer to kind of blend everything together. I think there's a shimmer in here I can use for that. If not, I'll have to go back with a little bit more of that matte shade. But I'm just kind of pressing this all over my lid and making sure it's nice and blended. I'm not getting any fallout. It's not going on chunky. It looks nice and smooth. It doesn't feel heavy. Very reflective. And it's not accentuating the texture on my lid either. And you know what? If I just sit here and take my brush and just kind of zhuzh it back and forth, I think it's blending really nicely because I'm looking at this palette and there's not really another shimmer in here that I can use to kind of close that little gap and bridge the shades together. And I don't think I want to go in with more of the matte shade. I think that looks really pretty. So I think we're going to go ahead and leave that there. I'm going to leave my inner corner matte, and I'm going to go ahead and do some liner and mascara, and I'll come back and show you all the completed look. Alright y'all, so this is the first completed look and I think this turned out so pretty. I was really impressed with the performance of the mattes, and that shimmer on the lid is insanely reflective but very smooth, and I really love the way this look turned out. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look and then we can pop into our second look with this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner. This is in the shade Walk of No Shame. I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and finished everything off with my City Beauty Beyond mascara. But let's pop back into this palette. So I definitely want to play with these cool tones down here, and I'm trying to decide what direction I want to go because I can definitely do something with this shade right here, but do I want to play with the mints or do I want to play with the blue, or what do I want to do? I'm kind of feeling the blue, and maybe I don't know, but we're decisions are so hard and I have a really hard time with them. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with this shade right here, this really pretty matte dusty blue shade, which is called Orbit. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with this big fluffy Morphe M504 brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and fluff this all in my crease. So basically doing the same thing that I did in the first look. Ooh, look at that pigmentation. Nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and fluff this in here. I did go in a little heavier handed because I wanted to see what it was gonna do if I did that, and definitely more pigmentation. I'm still not getting any fallout. I'm not getting any patching, but let's see how this blends out. Sometimes if it's too pigmented and you go in too heavy handed, you can have a really hard time kind of wrangling it back in. Excuse me. Ooh. I am so sorry. I got like a little frog in my throat. But you can have a hard time sort of wrangling it back in and shearing it out. And so I want to see if I'm able to do that with this formula. It definitely seems like I'm able to. Maybe not as much as I want, but that's okay. You just go in a little lighter handed and build up to what you want instead of going in heavier handed. But that is a really pretty shade. It's almost like a denim blue, and I really like the way that it's looking on my lid. From here, I want to go into this really pretty cream colored matte shade that has a little bit of a yellow undertone to it, and I want to use that to kind of blend out my edges and soften them just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Sigma E42 brush, and I'm just going to go very lightly along the edges of this shade. I don't want to go in too heavy handed, but I want just a little bit of a softer gradient. I could have gone in with this first, but I decided to go this route. That is definitely softening that edge. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I like how it has that soft gradient. This is very pigmented though, so a little bit goes a long way. Go in very lightly handed, but you see how that just blends a little bit better. I like that. I think it's performing really nicely. So next I want to go into this really pretty deep teal shade right here. This one is called Infinity. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO6 brush, and just like I did with the first look, I'm going to build up this outer corner. So I'm going to go in very light-handed yet again and just build up the pigmentation out here. That's going on really nicely. You see how it's just buildable in pigmentation. I have more control over it. I think that's really nice. But when I go back in with a second round, I get the full impact of that shade. So that is something I do really enjoy from a formula. But again, I'm not getting any fallout. It's not patching. It's not skipping. It's not grabbing. It's kind of blending into the other shade really easy and effortless. But I'm just going to kind of keep building this up right here on my outer corner, and I am going to bring it over almost halfway and then just kind of build up my shape out here just like I did in the first look. And do I want to bring this down onto the lower lash line? That is the question. And I think I am. I think I'm going to bring it down to the outer portion of my lower lash line just like I did in my first look and most of my looks. So I'm just going to bring it down right here, just kind of pressing and fluffing it along my lower lash line. All right, so I'm gonna go back into this black shade down here, which is called Eclipse. I'm gonna pick it up with my same Morphe M506 brush, and I'm gonna build up a little bit of depth in this outer corner, just like I did in the first look. So I'm just gonna kind of press it right here and then blend it over and bring it down into the very outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just to give that little extra added bit of smokiness and depth right out here. It's something I absolutely love in a look. I do this with 99% of my eye looks, unless I'm going for something really light and airy, but I love this. So for the rest of the lower lash line, I'm going back in with that first matte blue shade that I used in the crease called Orbit, and I'm just bringing it along the rest of my lower lash line. Same brush that I used, nothing exciting. I'm just kind of connecting my inner corner to my outer corner, and then once again, I'm going to prime my eye with my NYX Glitter Primer, and we're going to put shimmer on the lid. Okay, so for all over the lid, I want to go into this blue shimmer shade right here. I don't normally do dark shimmer shades on my lid, but I don't think that one's going to be as dark as it looks in the pan. I think it's going to be good. So that shade is called Believe. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up once again with my BK Beauty 203 brush. I am going to spray this, and I'm going to put this all over my lid, but I'm not going to put it in my inner corner because I definitely want to reserve that for something lighter and brighter. So I'm just going to press this right here. Look at how pretty that is. I love how impactful these are. They're not super flippy. They don't have like all these multi-chromes and duochromes and holochromes in them, but they just look beautiful on the lid. So I'm gonna kind of blend that into this matte shade right here. So we have a nice kind of seamless blend, and bring this all the way over and just make sure that it's nice and blended. All right, so for the inner corner, I think we're gonna have a little bit of fun and go into this mint green shimmer right here, just for a little added pop of color. That shade is called Beam, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray it per usual, and I'm gonna pop this in the inner corner, but I'm also gonna kind of blend it down onto the lower lash line, blend it up onto the lid, just so we don't have like a blob of shimmer right here. Ooh, that is so pretty, and that goes really good with this look. It adds just a little pop of something. I'm going to kind of blend it in right here so we can get rid of that harsh line. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. And there we have it, our second completed look with this palette, and this one turned out absolutely beautiful. I love the blue smoky look that I got, more than I thought I would. Once I put that shimmer on the lid, I was like, oh, this is a little dark for my taste, but I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and that kind of minty green shimmer on the inner portion is a beautiful touch. It blended into the other shimmer beautifully, and I love this look. I think it's my favorite of the two that I created, but let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down and we can see the beautiful shimmer and sparkle that these shimmers have, and then we can close out this video with some of my first initial impression thoughts. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a ColourPop Cream Gel Lighter in the shade Prance. Very fitting for this. I know it's one of Angelica's favorite liners. I sound a little stalkery, don't I? Anyways, it kind of is what it is. But then I lined my lid with my ZC Liquid Liner and went in with my same City Beauty Beyond mascara. All right, y'all, so based off of first impression, I am really impressed with the performance of this palette. I thought the matte formula in here was absolutely beautiful. It was very user-friendly. I like how they're more buildable in pigmentation. You can really get the full impact in the shade that you're gonna see in the palette, but you also have a lot more control over the shade and how deep it goes and where it goes on the lid. I didn't have any patching, skipping, or fallout with any of the matte shades in here, and I thought they blended out effortlessly on the lid. Now, as far as the shimmers in here go, these are very high impact. I only got to 3 of them, but as you saw when I applied them, every single one of them was like bam in your face, not for the faint of heart, but I didn't get any fallout with them. Keep in mind though, I did prime my eye with my NYX Glitter Primer and I did spray my brush, so I'm somebody who always does that every single time. I don't ever go in with a dry brush or without a tacky base, but I just thought they looked absolutely beautiful on the lid. They didn't accentuate texture. They were very smooth. They don't feel heavy, chunky, or anything like that, and I love the the color selection in this palette. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a very Angie color story. I would expect nothing less from her with her first palette for her brand. I love that it's split up into cool tones and warm tones. We have a great variety in here. We've got some mid-tones, lots of lighter shades in here. We've got lots of depth over here. I love that we've got darker shimmers, we've got lighter shimmers. There's a little something for everything depending on your preferences in here. Now, obviously, if this is not your color story, you're not going to like it, but if you gravitate towards this, I think you won't be disappointed with the quality and the performance of this palette. I had a really good time playing with it. I love the two looks that I created, and I think aesthetically this palette is absolutely beautiful. I love how it's a good 16 pan palette, but it's not overwhelming. It's very well curated, and I like the setup of it. The palette isn't too big. You get a nice mirror in here. This is sort of like that matte soft touch finish, and I like how you have like the glossy little addition on here with the artwork. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think she killed it with this release, and she did a fantastic job. I'm excited to keep playing with it. I will keep y'all posted as far as wear time increasing and all of that goes as I continue to play with this palette and put it in a future palette ranking video. But for now, that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you picked up this palette, which look was your favorite. I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section. And as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. Until my next video, have a good one. Bye.